So I'm here in my kitchen and I'm slowly taking down all of my fall decor so that I can begin prepping for decorating for Christmas. I'm pretty much going to do like I did for the fall, just my downstairs and that's it. And I'm starting with above my microwave. I've already taken down I call it my makeshift shelf, which is actually just a piece of trim and brackets attached. And I just gave it a fresh coat of spray paint. It's still a little tacky, but I'm not going to put it back up. I was going to do like a double shelf look, but I don't have enough height. So I'm creating another shelf inspired by a picture that I saw on Pinterest. This shelf was over my front door. I got it from the thrift store several years ago. It was white and I spray painted it black. And then I have these, I was looking at it because I thought it was still wet. I have these cornice wall mounts, but I got these from the thrift store a long time ago. I mean, a long time, well over 20 years. And they were white, like a cream color, but I spray painted them black. And what I'm going to do is put them up over there, and it's going to be like this, kind of like the inspiration picture. Right now, I'm just going to hang the shelf. And then I'm going to continue to look on Pinterest to find what I want to actually put up there. So here's the shelf hung, and I love how it turned out. That light will not be there. I put it over my wall shelf that's next to my back door, and up there will be a wreath and my other DIYs. My wreath wasn't a DIY, but a wreath is going to be hanging in place of that light, and you will see what I'll be putting up there coming up next. So for my first DIY is this picture rail that I'm putting on the shelf, and what you can tell, if you can tell, they are my cabinet handles. I glued them together, and this gold is the real color. This is painted. The silver is also an original color, and I had these left over when I redid my kitchen, and I glued them together using this Gorilla Glue and waited overnight. And then coming up, you'll see that I'll be using some gold leaf on top of the black spray paint that I used to paint these all together. I loved how this looked. The only difference in other picture rails or guard rails, not guard rails, but shelf rails is, the little balls that they usually have on the end. I like the way this looked. And because I already had them on hand from my makeover from my kitchen, I used this as my picture shelf rail. And here it is coming up on top of my DIY shelf. I love the way this turned out. This is permanently fixed on top of the shelf. I probably could, more than likely could take it off. I took a hammer and slammed it and won it off, but I don't. I want it to stay like this. And this shelf will more likely stay up here. Next, you may recognize these. Everybody recognize these nutcrackers. I bought mine like 2 years ago and never used them. I pulled the white beards off, and here it is. I'm spray painting them using this Rust-Oleum flat black spray paint. And then after that, I'm taking some rub and buff. I use Grecian or antique gold, one or the other, to spray paint them. Here they are. They're all finished, and I like the way they turned out. I will end up using 2 in my bedroom and 2 on top of the shelf above the microwave. So here it is. I did one, and I'm showing the brush that I use, and then this rub and buff. This brush here, I will share later on that when I use these brushes, I always remove the sponge when it's worn out and keep the stick. You'll see where I'll be using these sticks, some of these sticks, for other DIYs later on in my video. But this is basically the process that everybody uses that I see on YouTube. And I love the way it gives this plastic look, an iron look. And this is how I mounted the DIY shelf rail. I put the glue on the bottom part that you would put in the cabinet with the screws. I put it on the bottom part, and then I let it sit up on top of the shelf rail overnight. And here it is with my nutcrackers. Now that mirror will not be there. I just took it down again. I'll put the wreath in place of it, and only 2 nutcrackers will be up there. I will have a picture coming up showing how it is all decorated out with 2 DIY lamps on the side. using candlesticks in the shade and then the USB lights. Now, this is my #1 favorite DIY this year. I bought this deer head from the thrift store like 3 years ago, and you see that antler is broken, and this was like $12. I thought it was kind of high, but it has weight to it, and I'm guessing that this is why the person put it in, turned it into Goodwill or the thrift store. So I'll be showing you how I will be repairing it. But first, let me share my inspiration that I found on Pinterest. They call this Frankie. And this young lady that's coming up, I did mute it. She says this is called Frankie. He is big. I don't know how much it costs, but what I liked about it were the glasses. So I'll be imitating that by creating my own glasses, as well as repairing and extending the broken antler that is on the left or right side. Coming up here are the pieces, and I'm using foam air dried clay to form the antlers. The biggest one is going to extend to make it the same height as the one that is fixed, and then these little ones are going to be on each side of the long one that's being extended. Here I'm showing you what this one is fixed, and I'm just pointing. That long piece is the big piece that I created, and the two pieces are going to extend across from there. So my antlers are done. I tried smoothing them out as best as possible. Kind of looks funny right now. I actually decided to go ahead and cover the other antler. This is the one that I did here. And I covered this one so the texture can be the same. So this is not smooth and this has bumpiness all over it. But I like the deer that I saw online on Amazon. I found it on Pinterest, but it was Amazon and Walmart, where he has the glasses, and one he actually has a tie on. I really want to do the one with the glasses. I have some of my own glasses here, and I put it there, and I like that style. I was just going to use mine, but I think I'm just going to try to make these using the clay. So let's see what I can do. So what I'm using is foam clay, and it air dries, and I'm just using it just to form around the rim of my glasses, and it dries overnight. It does not harden as a rock. It is foam clay, so it's kind of spongy. When you after it dries, when you press it, it doesn't take on the form of anything after it dries. But you can reshape it or anything by putting a little water on it. I wouldn't put much, because what I discovered is if you put too much water and you start playing with it in your hand and stuff, it begins to dissolve in your hand. You know, like when you put lotion in your hand and you rub it and the cream dissolves into your skin. This does the same thing. What's good about it is not toxic. So let's see how this came out. Okay, so I took the mold off the glasses, and I actually put it on the around the snout of the deer so it can press an indentation, so when it dries I can just sit it up there. So let me show you. I pressed the glasses down on the snout of the deer, so when it looks like it might be too big, I don't know, but I'm not going to change it. So when it dries, it'll just sit on the deer, because it sits up like this. I have it sitting up straight now, how it would sit on the wall, and then this here would sit on the deer. Okay, here I sprayed the deer, and look, I went dripping. Ugh, but that'll be covered up. It's still wet, it's drying. And this is what I covered with the clay, and this is what I molded and created. Doesn't look bad at all. I like the way this turned out. My deer is done. I love the texture on the antlers. They look so good. And I love how my deer came out. and the glasses. I just love how the antlers actually match the glasses. So let me put them on his face because they do sit on his face. And let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's going to sit on the wall like this. And the way I can tell the front from the back, I didn't put as much on the back as I did the front. And like I said, I pressed it in there, under there. You can see those little indentions. That's where it sits on his snout. I love the way it came out. Oh my gosh. My deer with glasses. And here he is mounted on my fireplace wall. I absolutely love it. This is my #1 favorite DIY for Christmas this year. And the backboard is actually a paper bag, or not a paper bag, but a gift bag that I put on the backing of this frame. The frame, I am going to make it the same color, give it that distressed look as the deer. And you will see that later on in the video. Let's get on to the next DIY. The next DIY is making a hook, a bell hook. I guess you can call it a bell holder, using this dowel that I had. This was going to be my towel bar for the side cabinet, but it didn't work out, so I used a regular curtain rod. Here is an over the door towel holder, or whatever you want to call it. I had another one and I made a mistake and broke it because it was bent, and I was trying to straighten it out so it can be flat like this one, but I hammered it so much till I ended up breaking it. But I thought of something else. I think I like this better because I was going to do it this way and let the bells hang from here on ribbon, but I like this way. And the things that I took off, the magnets that I took out, these are going to be the feet on the bottom of this, because when I put this screw on, this little hump is going to cause this to rock. So to level it out, I'm going to put on the bottom 2 feet that are going to actually go on the front, but underneath, and this other one is going to go in the back. Finally secure all of this together to make it one piece. Then I'm going to spray paint it black and then lightly brush over it with some rub and buff. These are going to be my bells. These are plastic. Here one is chipped, but that's okay. I don't mind that. These, I believe, were sold at the Dollar Tree several years ago, I think. I'm not sure, but I'm going to paint them and give them that vintage bell look. I'm going to do it this way, and then I'm going to, I have some dowel sticks or something that I can glue in the bottom to hang from under it. I don't know if that's going to work yet. Let me get it and see. Okay, so these are what I was talking about. I was going to glue this to the bottom of that, but you won't see it. Most of the pictures you see, they kind of hang out a little bit. So what I have are these wood brackets that you put the poles in for the closet. So what I'm going to do is use this hole to my advantage, put a screw and bring it together. But I'm going to do it this way because I need the height of this. And I'm going to put it in the bottom, glue it to that, after I've screwed both of them together. It's going to be like that when it's screwed, and you can see it kind of stands up a little bit out of the cup. When I bring it up, let me see something. Okay, so I screwed these two together with the two backs together, and I had to make another hole because the screw was too big for this. I'm using the screws that came with these dowel holders, rod curtain holders. And what I'm going to do is put glue around the edge rim of it and put it in the bottom. And it's coming out enough where you'll be able to see it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this together, and then I'm going to probably tomorrow spray paint because it's kind of late in the day and the sun is going down, and I need that sun to dry this for me. So I'm assembling the toggle together. This is where I share with you about the stick. This is the stick that went to the sponge. I unscrew the sponges are screwed in there, and I take it and I keep the stick. And here you see I've glued it and it rocks. So I'm going to also attach another piece of the dowel because it still wasn't long enough for me. And here I'm putting the shepherd hook pole together, and then I will take it outside, spray paint it all black. But then I don't like the finished look using the rub and buff, so I end up using the gold spray out of the can. I just didn't make it too brassy gold, but I like it better than this look right here. So right now I'm just balancing out, making sure that it's leveled and not rocking. I cut another stick, and I just cut in between so I can have the flat pieces. So basically I just took the flat part of both ends of this one, and I'm going to sit it on top of these. Let me get my other one here, and use my wood glue and let it sit overnight, because I really wanted these two, and I don't mind the ends being a little rough. I might sand this one a little more, but it gives that that organic look. It's not perfect on the ends, but it'll be okay. And here's a pole I put together. I've already glued the little feet, is what I'm going to call it. This is how I'm putting I broke the other one off, so this is how I'm putting the hooks on, is with zip ties. I always remember, see, the rough on the inside, smooth on the outside. Yes, that's what you want to hear. Rough on the inside, smooth on the outside. And I have it holding the, see, I'll put it up here. Yeah, I have it holding the top half, the middle, and the bottom. So I'm pulling it, holding this, and pulling this until, there it is, and I'll do the bottom. And the top. Okay, and I got it really tight. And when I get my glue, I will put the glue on the sides, on both sides of the pole, and let it sit for about 24 hours. And then I'll come back and cut off the zip ties. I don't want the zip ties to stay on here. So here is what I made, and I might push this one up more so it's not so close to the base. Okay, I moved that one up more. I think when I hammered that piece off, I might have bent this a little bit. So I got my glue in the mail, the Welding High Strength Oily Glue, hands down above E6000, the Gorilla Glue, you name it. I've already glued this on, and because of these skinny tube attachments that come with them, it went in there seamlessly. I was able to, on top and all around, you don't see any excess of the glue. So this is, and I'm turning it upside down so you can see it's not falling, it's on there. It didn't take long either. So I'm getting ready to take it outside now, spray paint it black. And then I decided, because this is a finial from a curtain rod, but it looks like an ornament to me. So that's what I'm going to top this off with. Let me just put it on the floor here. So I'm going to top this off with it. I'm going to glue it on after I paint it. And it looks like this is going to be, I don't know what you call the things that the bells hang on. But that's going to go real well with it. So I'm going to take it out and paint it now. Okay, my Dollar Tree DIY plastic cup, stemless cup turned into a bell is already completed. And the round part is a wooden napkin ring. I had 4 of those, and I thrifted them years ago. I had them in my drawer. I used 2 on the bell and 2 on the end of the pole that the bell is hanging on. It gave me an idea to turn this into a balance bell. And here it is, all completed. My shepherd's hook balancing bell Christmas decor turned out way better than I can imagine. Again, the round circles are wooden napkin ring holders, and I put them also on the end of the pole. Let me know at the end of this video which DIY, Christmas DIY, was your favorite. On with the next. Here's something else I wanted to share. I had this container, and I got it from the thrift store a long time ago for $1.91. And it reminds me of those bells that are candles, you know, because the lid is kind of round, and it has, I love the hammered look. And then I have a bunch of candles that I can actually melt and turn this into a candle. So I'm going to try that. Again, I'm going to spray it black and do the bronzing, what I've been doing with all of my DIY. And here it is, all completed. Very simple. I think the only thing I don't have is around mine is the rope. I prefer using a ribbon. So when I find some ribbon around my home that'll fit this, I'll do that. I'll even may find something to put the ring at the top as opposed to this little knob. And I'll put a jar candle in there instead of melting wax and putting it in this tin, because I really don't want to do that, but it'll give the same effect and the same look. Next is another Dollar Tree DIY that's very simple. I'm taking this Dollar Tree candle snuffer and the Dollar Tree's crystal icicle, and I'm going to remove this handle, keep the two little rings on top to put it through the hole of this icicle, paint the top of this gold, and I just kind of elevated the candle snuffer into a lit candle stuffer. Just gave it a little different high-end look as opposed to just keeping this handle on it. Open it up to use in the, oh, that was easy. Wish I had that bell. You know, that not the bell, but the little button, you know, the red thing. That was easy. Okay, so I got it off, but now what I want to do is cut this, clip it, so I can put it through there, and that'll be so cute. But first, I'm going to go ahead and paint this. So I'm using antique gold rub and buff. Here I'm just testing it out to make sure that I can see the difference of the golds, and you can't tell on the camera, but on the naked eye you can see it as a difference. I also did the top of the silver top where the battery goes on the icicle. Here I'm painting on the inside and read the thing, and it says flammable. I'm like, Phyllis, you can't put out a light if you're gonna put something flammable. You see my face I just made there? So I just took the towel and wiped it out, and I haven't tested it yet, but I discovered, Phyllis, no, you can't put paint on the inside. So here it is, all finished. So, and here's the top of this painted. So let's see. This dries almost instantaneously. So I'm going to take my time, and I'm just clipping the round piece to put through the center of the icicle hole. Okay, will you fit through here? Please. No, it won't. Oh, wait a minute. It's fitting. Hold up. It fit. Oh, here. Can I close it without breaking it? Take my time. Yes. It works. Oh, good. It bent it down for me like it's welded together. That's what I wanted it to do. Yay. Yay. Okay. There we go. Boom. Okay, let's see how I sit. Yay. Okay. Oh, let me show y'all. I got so excited. Okay. Turn the Christmas icicle into a more high-end looking candle snuffer. And these are both at the Dollar Tree. I loved how this turned out. Now, I did buy batteries. They just were not the right size. So I have to order the correct batteries to put in this. And I can't wait to see what it looks like all lit up. This is so cute. I love it, love it, love it. These items came from the thrift store a long time ago. I've used this in one of my Christmas makeover videos. This used to be gold. It was like it looked like these candlesticks. It actually looks like this before I spray paint them. These I got from the thrift store as well. And these are those horns. I forget what kind of horns they call them. But I spray painted them black like a couple of years ago. I'm going to put them back gold. And what I'm doing is I'm combining these to make these horn candle stands that I saw on Pinterest. And I was playing around with them yesterday to see how to attach these two here, because I need to sit it there, and I want these to sit up straight so that the candle can sit up. Let me figure it out. Hold on. So this is how I had it clamped on, and right where it's clamped, so it actually meets. You can see right in here. Well, no, not right there. Right in here. The glue is going to have to go on here, and this part up against here, and this part on the top of here. And it sits there for a couple of days until it dries. And then I'm able to put a candle in here and in here. But first I'm going to get this glue together, and then I'll spray paint it all black. And then I'll come back with my rub and buff. So I'm using this Gorilla Glue, and I didn't show it, but I ended up using the other glue, the welding glue, which I love because it's a whole lot better, because this glue leaves like a rubbery finish to where you can pop them off, but I used the other glue and it worked a whole lot better. So it worked. The French horn stayed connected to the candle holder with the glue. It's only one coat, not putting any more coats on here. I just wanted to make sure there was black on all of it. And then again, I'm going to come through and brush it with some of my rub and buff. Here it is completed. It's both of them. This one is on the other end, and here's the other one. This is another one of my favorites. I can't say which one. I know the deer is my favorite. At the end, I'll be showing a chair, which is my number 2. My Nutcrackers figurine soldier was number 3. So I may say this is a number 4. I like the way this came out. Again, share with me in the comments which one was your favorite DIY. On to the next DIY. Okay, so I have taken my Nutcrackers hat apart and the arms. I've taken everything off the arms. I'm going to spray paint the arms, and I'm going to disassemble this because this was the top part of the hat. Well, I have it gold. I think I'm going to spray paint the back. It's not necessary because you won't see it, but I'm going to take this apart and spray paint it again because I don't want that to look like that. And here's the part that was on the hat. This was part of a duster feather, and I have some more bling wrap, so I'm gonna get some more bling wrap. And then what I thought about for his hands, because I never gave him hands, is these miniature Christmas balls. I'm going to spray paint these Christmas balls to kind of give him a bronzing look, because to kind of look like this, because I'm taking all the red out and putting the bronze on here. And I think I'm going to leave his body clear because I just like his mustache, because if I turn this black, you won't see the mustache. So I'm going to leave this. I'm going to give this down here is okay. I'm just going to give his hat a fresh coat. And again, this is the cylinder glass vase from the Dollar Tree. This is a candle jar, and these are those, I call them the fish bowls, miniature fish bowls from the Dollar Tree. I don't know what they call them. But I'm taking this outside and giving a fresh coat of spray paint. So here I do speed up the video because it is a lot of components put together. Here I'm just showing you that I spray painted everything, and now I'm getting ready to assemble it. If you are interested in how I actually put this together, because again, I'm speeding this up, I can link the original video that I did in 2019. I did about 4 different types of Dollar Tree glass figurines is what I called it. I did this Nutcracker soldier. I did a Christmas tree. I did a Mr. and Mrs. Snowman. And I think the final one was a gingerbread boy, which I will have in this video. I didn't show how to put it together, but you can look at it and see it was simple. I only used the 2 small fish bowls to put them together, but I painted his inside to be black. And I use him in this clip, not in this clip, but in this video as a candle holder. And I changed him from the gingerbread boy to the gingerbread bell boy because the cap from the candle placed on his head made him look like a bell boy. So that's why I changed the name of him. But here I'm just, you can see what I'm clearly doing. This is the part that goes on the hat. I think I've already showed the other parts, which is the bow part of the ribbon. And those are used for the shoulder pad. This is the buckle that I'm painting. And then I used the ribbon. I found some ribbon in my sewing kit that worked perfectly with this. And this is one of the bows, part of the bow that I used as the brim. Then I will trim the brim out with bling wrap. And I put it here just to fit it on his head to make sure that it fits. This here, I did one of the arms. I got to put the other arm together. And you'll see the ribbon that I found. I right here put it across. One across looks good, but I do two because I like the look. And then I'll be putting the piece that I painted gold, which is the tail part of the bow. And that Christmas bow is also from the Dollar Tree. I use the tail part up there at the hat. You'll see where I put the feather on and realized I was supposed to put the gold piece on the hat first. Then right here, I put the feather on by mistake first. And here right there is when I noticed I did it wrong. So I took it off and put the gold piece on, which is this, and then the feather on top of that. I just like the way that looked with that stacked on top. So I'm just going to let you finish watching this, and then I will show you the finished result. And again, this is my Nutcracker glass figurine. Now here he is, all refreshed and new from red and black to gold and black, and I absolutely love him. I love his collar and his band across his waist and his buckle, and I love that I added they call them hands, but it looked more like a fist to me. But it's in my bedroom on my shelf up against what I am calling my Christmas wall because that's where all my Christmas decor is in my bedroom. I won't be showing my bedroom this year. At least that's what I'm saying now. I don't know what will happen before Christmas, but right now this is all that I have done in my bedroom because I am still working on the rest of my room. Here is the gingerbread bell boy that I also created that same year, which was my glass figurine. He did have a red bow tie, but I changed his ribbon to match the ribbon of the Nutcracker, the figurine Nutcracker. Now coming up is also a popular thing that is being shared for Christmas, and that is a Christmas ornament candle. Now this originally was green, and I never knew what this thing was. I knew it was a giant ornament, but I just didn't know it was used for because it had a plastic cup on the inside and an iron triangle piece, and I just didn't know what it was, but I just used it as decor in my home whenever I decorated for Christmas. Here you see I've changed the color to what I'm using, and right now it's just holding my miniature remote control pieces, but I can put a candle in it, a jar candle. I don't want to put wax in it and mess it up. But I love how this turned out, and I will be sharing this portion of my room with you all when I do my reveal. Some of y'all remember these glasses, these tea light glasses from the Dollar Tree? I found 3. I may have some more somewhere else because I am making these into my own tapered candle holder. This is chandelier light covers, the stick part, and I don't have the chandelier anymore, or I might have disassembled it, but I had a total of 4 of these, and you can tell this one on the light because it tells you the max wattage for it. But these fit in here perfectly. I didn't want to glue this part that you take off to put the battery in the glass, and then I may want to sit up higher, so all I have to do is put some tissue inside the little tube or cotton or something, or a piece of styrofoam to make it sit up higher. So what I did was I took this glue. I just love this glue, and I don't have to squeeze it. It falls, drips to the tip of that, and I was able to go around the edge of this real nice and neat, and then sit it in the bottom of this so they can glue it. And once they are secured, I'm going to spray paint the whole thing black. Here they are Just painted them black. This is the first coat. I think that's all I'll do is just give it one coat, as I try to get good down inside of the glass. And I like this. So I'm trying to decide whether to leave them black or to change them to gold. Don't know. But I like this. And here it is all finished. I used some satin ribbon that I had to create what I call the Donald Duck Tail Minnie Mouse bow. I shared how to make this bow, I think in the beginning of my video when I had the red fabric. But that's what I use, and that gold in the middle is just some dots that I had. Here is a lamp, an old lamp. The arm came off. I even took the lamp apart to try to put it together and just couldn't figure out how to keep it. So I actually like it off because it looked weird with the 4. This is the color it used to be. I mean, the same exact finish, you know, with the dark and the brown. And I am so sorry. It's mad at myself that I even changed the color of this. Again, it was the lamp, and the part that broke off never worked anyway. So that hole is going to be covered up with a DIY bow. And I found a picture of it on Amazon. Here I'm spray painting it gold. I'm not going to do a finish on it to give it a vintage look. But coming up now is I'm sharing with you how I'm going to make the bow using foam clay to cover that hole. So I'm attempting to try to make this bow on the candle holder, not the candle holder, but the bow. And what I'm using as a starting point for this look, I used my glasses again like I used for the deer, and this is the shape I've got, and then I turned it into that butterfly look, and then I rolled out a piece and kind of did that. I think mine is a little deeper, but I'm not going to touch it. So now I have another piece to try to do another tail, and I'm going to see if I can get this look. I don't know if I can, but it's okay doing on my countertop because this is non-toxic. So we're going to see what I can do here. When I rolled this out and attached it and started making the little ducktail, is what I call them again, mine came to a shape where it looked like the country, or is it a country? Yes, of Italy. The Italy boot. You'll see here in a minute, looks like the heel right here. Looks like the Italy boot. But this came out pretty good for my first time. So I may try this whole candle situation maybe next year. But this is just the bow. I'm going to spray paint it gold and just glue it to the front of the candle. And what you're going to see coming up next is the completed candelabra, the candelabra with the bow attached. And here it is, my Christmas candelabra. Those candles sticks are from the Dollar Tree, the twisted candlesticks, and I love this. I love how this came out. Again, I hate I even ever initially painted this thing from the original color to white, but I live and I learn. And I liked how the bow turned out. With more practice, I probably could get it to look like the inspiration. I will try it probably again next year. Coming up is another thing that is trending for Christmas that I've been seeing on YouTube, and that's taking chandelier covers or light covers and turning them into Christmas bells or just bells. My next DIY is to make Christmas bells using these chandelier covers or these light covers. This one goes to the light in my hall on my staircase, so I'm going to make both of these temporary using a glue gun. And excuse me, I need to give this another paint over. I've had this for a while. This was on my wall sconce that was in my hall. It used to be silver, I think. I see glitter in here, so this was back in my glitter days. And the handle that I'm using is coming off of this sconce. I've already taken one off. And I had these wall sconces in my kitchen. This is thrifted. Well, these were thrifted a couple of years ago. So I went over this bell with the black. Didn't like the black. And I came back with this gold leaf rub and buff, and then on top of the gold leaf rub and buff, I used this folk art metallic Sahara gold, and I sponged it on. I cut a piece of sponge to sponge it on. And then I'm taking these, I'm leaving this color to go on the glass, but I kind of put some of that gold leaf rub and buff and the Sahara gold leaf on top of that, and that to kind of tone down the gold. What I'm going to do, I'm not worrying about this part. I'm going to glue it, and it's not going to be permanent because I don't want it permanent. I'm going to use my glue gun to just glue it to the top of that, and then to make the toggle piece under it, I took these sticks that goes with the sponge, and I've already rubbed it with the gold leaf rub and buff. We're just adding this, which gives it about a half an inch, I guess. It makes it long enough to hang from under. So I'm doing all this with the glue, and then what I want it to do is I want it to lean. I don't want it to sit up straight. And I do have ribbon that I'm going to put on here. I can use this here on this side, cut a thin strip with my pink and shears and use that. This is too thin. I'm getting ready to glue all these together and let you see what it looks like when it's done. This I'm doing nothing to. I'm just going to glue it. I was going to go the underside, you know, this way, but I wanted it a little longer, and it's easier to glue. It fits through that hole perfectly, and it's easier to glue. And I've already showed you all what it looked like when it comes through here. It's just not, I don't know, it's just not the scale of the bell. The bell is not matching the scale and extension of this part. So that looks better to me. And then when I dress it with the bow, that will look better. So I'm going to go ahead and put it together and let you see what it looks like when I'm done. So here are my DIY bells that I created from using lighting cover fixtures, I guess you can call it. And this one that has the this has the little toggle under it. The way I created this is the stick from a sponge stick that you know that comes in a pack from the Dollar Tree. These two circles is from a tic-tac-toe set that I've had for years and never used it. So I glued it on both sides with the glue gun. You can see the glue in there. And then this is just a screw or bolt or whatever you want to call it that came in a set. You know, when you get your TVs or anything and it gives you all different sizes, this is one of those, and it happens to fit in the hole perfectly. I love that this is loose because when it goes in the under there, because I'm going to glue this, a glue gun, because I don't want it to be permanent. I'm going to put this in there, and I'll have the bell leaning, because if I put this here, the bell won't be able to sit flat like that. I'm going to create my wall that I've been working on for a while. It's going to be my Christmas wall here in my bedroom. But I wanted to show you all that. And this here, I didn't put anything under. I like it just sitting up the way it is. And this one here, I'm going to glue this bottom part right onto that, and it will toggle, but I'm going to have it sit up like this. Okay, I placed the glue on, and I'm getting ready to put it up under the bell. Okay, it's in there, and I'm just letting it dry before I turn it upside down. And let's see, I was going to try to see if I can, yeah, I will wait until it dries, and I'll show you that it can toggle. And here it is displayed on this small easel. And here I can show you here that the toggle does move. And I really like how this turned out. The white one, I'm going to have it displayed on a candle stand. The candle stand is not the tapered candle stand, but the tea light candle stand, which is coming up now. These came out so cute to me. Again, the candle stand that is on is just like this stand right here that the round candle is sitting on. And these I got from my daughter last year. Two are in my kitchen that I turned into miniature lamp posts for a light. And then I'm using these two in my bedroom. Here are two inspirational pictures. This is the velvet ribbon, I call it Christmas tree, and then this is the yarn Christmas tree. I took both looks and combined them on one tree that I had that I used in, I think, my 2023 Christmas decor here in this powder room. Here is one where I covered the whole thing in yarn just halfway. Well, all of it, but then this one is just literally just half. I'm going to cover the bottom half of this with some DIY yarn made from some fabric, and then the other one is going to be covered all the way. And these trees took me about maybe an hour and a half, no more than 2 hours to fit. And because I had to, here's the fabric that I had. I took this fabric and ironed 2-inch thick slits or rows, not rows, but ironed it 2 inches wide. I'm making my own DIY ribbon, and I'm pointing to the tree. I'm going to cover this entire tree here, but this one, only the bottom half is going to get covered, and I like the way they turned out. So this is what I've done. I've ironed the creases, and now I'm just getting ready to cut down the lines, and then I've already cut both ends. And I'm just about, well, I'm done ironing, but these are a lot of my DIY ribbons made from that satin fabric, and the ends are rigid like that, but once I put them on the tree, you won't see the ridges. I love how this is turning out, and I'm not using any glue or anything. I'm just wrapping it tight. When I get to the end, I turn it under and I just put another piece up under what I turn and hold it and wrap it around tight. So this is how I am doing the ribbon around this tree frame. I'm turning up under, no glue or anything, and then I'll put another piece up under it and start wrapping it around. When I was recording this, I was sharing how I was wrapping it, how I was holding the piece. Well, when I started recording it, the ribbon kept slipping out of my hand. So I decided right here, I decided to take safety pins to just hold each piece until I get around to the end. I don't know why I started doing. I know one thing, my thumb was hurting because again, this took me about an hour and a half or two. You see, I have the TV on, so I would stop for a while and just watch TV to give my thumb a rest. I love how this is taking on the shape of the iron frame of the Christmas tree. This is very easy. All I did was fold the ends together, and I would make sure that it covered the zigzag edge of the previous piece that I put on, and I took the leftover ribbon to make a tree topper, bow tree topper. Okay, and here it is all done. Now I'm trying to decide which another one is my favorite. This is another one of my favorites, but I just don't know the number category now. I have maybe about 4 favorites in this DIY Christmas makeover for 2025. I think what I love about this most is the shape of what the ribbon took on. So we're almost done. Coming up now is I'm going to show you how I make the Donald Duck Minnie Mouse bow. I'm going to do this bow slowly on camera. It's just fabric that I have, and I've already showed you how we did the ducktail or dovetail. I just fold it in half, and I go downward because I want, if you go the other way, it's going to make an arrow. So I go downward in the corner like a triangle cut. See how it made the arrow? That's not what I want. So I made that mistake. So I need to go up. So this is the arrow. I don't want an arrow. I want the ducktail. So I'm glad I did that to show you the mistake. So I'm going to go this way down to the point. And there's my ducktail. Instead of just cutting it like I see people do it, I just do it in one cut. I'm going to see if I can do this upside down so you all can see. So what I did was I did a crisscross like that, and then I got a bread twine that's black to bring this together in the middle. So let's see if I can. No, I want to make it shorter. The bow would be too big. So that's about the right size. And then I'm bringing it up, and then I'll just pinch it in the middle, and then just take the bread twist or pipe cleaner or whatever you can get, picture wire hanger or fishing line wire, whatever you got that can just tie this, and I pull it tight, and then I just twist it, just twisting a tie. And I leave it like that, and then just start shaping out my bow. I'm used to making these bows because I used to make these bows for my daughters when they were little. I made their dresses and their lace socks, and I actually used to make these and sell them. So I'm getting ready to make a cylinder glass tapered candle holder using the Dollar Tree cylinder vase, and I've already got one done. And the part that's going to be holding a tapered candle is a top from this, because the tapered candle holder fits perfectly in here. And it has that gold finish, that dull, not really shiny gold finish. And here is a Dollar Tree candle, and because it's wax, I can squeeze it, and I don't have to do this when I sit it in the vase. I don't have to hold it side and be secured, but the tapered candle sits in it perfectly. So what I'm going to do is take the Dollar Tree cylinder vase, and I did clean it, but it looks like it still got some wax and stuff on here, and it does, but it's coming off. And this is going into my candle sconces. Yes, that's what they're called. The candle sconces on my fireplace that I made those bows for. And first, what I'm going to do, I've already done one. And I'm just, you see the top is in there. I've already put this glue on it. I'm just waiting until it dries. I'm not going to put any candles or anything probably until tomorrow. But to make sure that the glue really sticks, I'm going to just use my sanding sponge and just rough the top up here. And then I'll just take my glue and just go on the top of it here. And it's coming out. Then I just sit it in the center. And I sit in the center, then I'll take the candle to move it around. Yep, that's pretty much in the center. Yes, perfect. So I'm going to let both of these sit and dry. And these are the iron candle wall sconces. I thrifted both of them. One was thrifted in Jacksonville of 2021, I believe it was. And the other one was thrifted just this year, 2025, in Nashville, Tennessee, during my sister's weekend getaway. And I'm so glad that I found a match to it. Here it is with the DIY ducktail Minnie Mouse Christmas bow. And I just took a pine cone and a sprig and then two small fruit ornaments that I had and glued them onto this bow. And here is the candle sitting inside of the top that I turned into a tapered candle holder. And the candles are from the Dollar Tree. I love how this came out. I already had everything on hand. So basically everything in this video, nothing cost me. I didn't have to spend money on anything. Now, next coming up, this is a Pinterest inspiration of something I've been wanting to do for a while. And what I'm talking about is the rod and the chain from the picture. I am sharing my version of this, and the curtain rod, my daughter gave them to me. There were two small curtain rods. She didn't want any more. So I mounted it to the wall, and the chains came off of an old necklace that I had. And the way I have it hanging is the top of the chain is around the curtain rod using little eye hooks. And then the chain itself is actually glued to the frame, and the frames are hanging on the wall on the screw. Doing all of this gives it an illusion that it's actually hanging from the rod. And I love this DIY take. The music I did purchase from Amazon 2 years ago. I have a third one. It'll be sitting on the little cabinet there that you see in the corner. I just love how this all came together. Now for the last DIY, which is my number 2 favorite DIY of all of these that I've made over. This chair I thrifted some time ago, and I forgot I even had it. It was in my garage in a container when I was looking for some fabric. I like that Christmas look, but that wasn't exactly the green I wanted. I wanted a darker burgundy, and the green I wanted to be different. So what I did, I had some drop cloth left, painter's drop cloth left from when I covered my daughter's sectional in 2020. And I used what I had to cover this entire chair with that drop cloth linen fabric. What I did do with this fabric that I did not do with my daughter's fabric when I covered her sectional was wash this. And I'm glad I washed it. It was easier to deal with. I didn't have problem covering my daughter's sectional. I just didn't wash it. I'm glad I didn't wash it when I covered her sectional, because after washing this and taking it out of the dryer, there were so many strands that I had to cut off this thing before actually using it. So I washed it, cut the piece that I need, and I actually ironed the piece that I was using to cover this chair. If you'd like to see that video of when I covered my daughter's sectional, I'll put that link in my description box below. Also, with anything else that I shared in here, like the music in the frames that I had, anything that I have in this video that I can link in my description box that I purchased, I will put in my description box below. And also, with making this chair, I am going to add my own take of nail heads using tacks that I spray painted gold and then touched it up with a little Grecian gold rub and buff. And I just love how this came out. So if you all enjoyed these videos, please let me know which one is your favorite. My number 1 favorite, again, is the deer head. And this is my number 2 favorite. Then my nutcracker, I would say number 3. And then maybe between the horn candle and the trees, one is 4 and one is 5. I just can't... I don't know which one is my favorite, but you let me know in the comments what was your favorite. And again, if you are new to my channel, I want to thank you for stopping by. Please consider subscribing if you like what you saw here today. Check out my other videos as well. And for my faithful subscribers and viewers, thank you so much for your faithful viewing support. And I will be uploading all of these DIYs displayed in my downstairs area, and some will be up here in my bedroom, because I'm still working on the makeover of my bedroom, but I do have my Christmas wall completed, and I'll be sharing that as well when I share my downstairs Christmas reveal for 2025. And again, I want to thank you all for stopping by. So let me allow you to continue just to watch the completion of this video, and then at the end, I will just show you snapshots of all my DIY Christmas videos. I want to thank you again for stopping by.